Good morning, this is Mona and this is my morning view. Today, spring edition 2025, overcast. A little bit chilly, Not so much for a jacket, but I have a long fleece shirt, a sweatshirt, and I'm a little chilly. All right, today it is Memory Monday. Oh, what is the date today? Today's, I want to say the 21st. Yesterday was Easter. Resurrection Sunday, whatever you want to call it. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. All right, so Memory Monday. It's when I take a memory of mine and we talk about it a little bit. All right, so those of you who know that I do these for multiple reasons. Okay, and one of those reasons is because when I had gotten sick, my memory was attacked and I had lost quite a bit of my memory. And so as I do Memory Monday, those are days that it's like, it's a win because I remember something. This is awesome. This is awesome that I can remember something, and I'm remembering it more and more every day. So it might be little nuggets, or it might be little pieces of a puzzle, but it's a memory that's coming back. And so I work on these as a impromptu in order to stir up that memory. All right, so here we go. Memory Monday. I remember when I was a young college student and I lived in California. I grew up in Northern California, and I lived in a house with a bunch of other ladies around my age, all single. And we were all really basically preparing ourselves for ministry. Whether that was the fivefold ministry or whether it was, just a ministry that God was going to have us do, right? Those things that we all have a ministry. It may not be considered the fivefold ministry, but we all have a ministry. So, there were certain rules and regulations that we had to abide by living there. And there was an issue in my family that took place, that they requested my presence in Pennsylvania. And so in my head, well, we have to take care of family. Because if we can't take care of family, what good are we? I need to go take care of my family. And the whole thing about, let the dead bury the dead, let me go bury my father or whatever, and let the dead bury their dead. That Christ should be number one in your life, not your family. Your family's important. Don't hear what I'm not saying. Your family is important. God knows your family is important. That's part of the whole thing. Is when we want to hold so tightly onto something, tighter to that than anything else, we eventually could lose it. And we don't want to lose it. So I was trying to explain that I needed to leave to go to Pennsylvania to help with this family crisis that was happening, which, by the way, ended up not being the crisis that it appeared to be. It was a crisis. It was definitely a crisis, but they did not need me to take care of the crisis. So I'm sitting there being torn, staying or going, but I was having trouble finding work. Construction. Sorry. I was having trouble finding work in Northern California. It was hard to find jobs. I didn't have a driver's license, so I had to walk, ride my bike, or get a ride to wherever I was going. It wasn't always convenient. So, the idea that Pennsylvania offered work, offered helping with a family crisis. Wow, I'm getting it on both sides. There's a large skidster and something else in the farming section, and on the road, they're paving. And so the noise has amplified since I started this. So let's see if we can get to where you can talk. I don't have my hearing aids on. And I know that sometimes, oh, he's moving his whole barn. Okay. Little barn. With my hearing aids, the mic gets picked up with the hearing aids, and it probably sounds better than what it is now, but it would also pick up all this noise. So I can't justify wearing hearing aids during construction time because it would be probably louder, and that would not be pleasant. All right. So, where were we at? Pennsylvania offering things for me beyond Northern California was offering me. Except for I was laying a foundation for my Christian walk. New to Christ, not had a lot to learn still. And I was trying to tell you know how in college dorms they have a VA over the dorm, you know, the person who's in residence there that takes care of the people that are there for whatever needs. I don't know what that's called. I can't remember. However, we kind of had that there. We had some people that were over us, and then there was some people over them, and then there was some people over them, and then over them were the pastors. So, one of them wanted to talk to me about the importance of staying. And you know, laying that foundation, make sure that foundation is good and solid, and running off for a family crisis may not have been the best thing for me to do. And I'm like, well, you know, don't break my spirit. You know, I grew up on a farm. It wasn't noisy like this. We didn't have machinery. We did everything muscle power. We didn't have a rototiller even. We shoveled the area for the garden, which is way larger than my backyard. Probably 4 times the size of my backyard was our garden. So anyways, yeah, at least 4 times. So I was like, you know, you don't want to break the spirit of a horse, right? You want to train it, but you don't want to break their spirit. So I'm like, you know, don't fence me in. Don't fence me in. And so she said, interestingly, that she had just received a story that day. Things are not coincidence, by the way. They are not. So here we are. When there's a coincidence, it's not a coincidence. The story was about a horse. There's 2 horses. They're out in the field. They're wild. They're running free. Yay! We're just free horses running around. And somebody comes and tries to catch them. And the one is caught, and the other one gets away. jumps over the fence, runs away. Woohoo! I'm good, I'm free. So he's running around free, and the other one is taken away. And a year or two later, the horse that is running free is hungry. There's not a lot of grass to eat. It's a drought. There's not a lot of water. He's hungry, he's matted, he's got thistles stuck to his legs. And here comes this carriage with 4 beautiful horses, donned in beautiful attire, combed, brushed, well fed, well taken care of. And while they are coming in, the wild horse recognizes the lead horse. It's his friend. It's his friend. So he comes up to talk to his friend, and he says, "Wow, you look amazing." He goes, "Yeah. When the master caught me, he trained me, and he's given me all this array. And I don't have to share the burden of carrying the carriage by myself. I'm well fed, I'm taken care of, I'm groomed, I'm loved. The master is good." He goes, "I wish you hadn't have broken away and jumped the fence. I wish you hadn't had gotten away that day because you wanted freedom. Because look at you, you're skin and bones. You're by yourself. The master is good." And I left for Pennsylvania. I didn't stay. My sister had already bought me the ticket. There were no jobs. I got there, and 2 weeks after I got there, Bethlehem Steel closed. My brother-in-law, who had worked with Bethlehem Steel for over 22 years, couldn't find a job. I couldn't find a job at McDonald's because they were hiring locals everywhere they could to keep the ones that worked at Bethlehem Steel to have some kind of job, even if it was minimum wage. They needed work. They weren't going to hire some young California girl So eventually I ended up joining the military. And life hasn't been easy. It hasn't. Things would have been different had I stayed. Now, mind you, I love my family. I love my husband, my children, my grandchildren, and none of those would have existed had I stayed in California. But the whole reason I went to Pennsylvania in the first place wasn't what it appeared. I held on too tightly to something and lost it. And not only did I lose that, but I lost that opportunity of building that foundation that would have set me up in other avenues. for my career, for ministry, for whatever could have been. Now, you don't want to get stuck in the coulda, shoulda, wouldas. I'm not saying that. I'm saying when you have the opportunity to arise to something greater than yourself, don't get so hell-bent into doing it your way. Doing it because it seems like the right thing to do at the time. Doing it because people are expecting you to do it that way. People pleasing will never get you anywhere. I was people pleasing for my family. My family requested my presence, therefore my family was getting my presence. Sometimes when we get into a hurry to do things our way because we think that that's the better way, we lose out. Have you ever had something where you were going to give your child something, or you were going to allow your child to go do something, but your child got in a hurry because they didn't know that it was going to be a yes, and they went and did something really dumb? And your yes became a no. Hardcore, straight out, no. You blew it. I was going to do this for you, but you wanted to do it your way, and so therefore you have lost opportunity to get something greater. You settled for something less because you thought that was it. Sometimes the being patient, sometimes the waiting, sometimes the just sheer obedience will grant you the audience of the King, will give you the opportunity to serve Him in a way that gives Him glory. So my memory of the story about the two horses really does reflect a lot of my life. But it's never too late. It's never too late to join I'm trying to think of what you would call that. Stables. The King's stables. To be a part of his entourage. It's never too late. You could have been there a little bit sooner had you gone earlier. But it's never too late. That's what I'm leaving you with Memory Monday. Thank you, Susan, for watching. Thank you, Bill, for watching. Have a blessed day. I'll see you tomorrow for Tips Tuesday. Got to go back to work tomorrow. So we'll be back at our regular time. Before I leave, my plug for my commercial. Like, comment, share. Facebook version. Go over to my YouTube page, Mona E. Harrison. Mona E. Harrison will have downloads from the day before. They got a little slowed down over the weekend. So there was 2 extra ones that were uploaded yesterday from Thursday and Friday. Go ahead and go there. Watch those. like them, comment, but most importantly, hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. That helps me to receive more than 3 minutes. And comment, like, hit the notifications, get all the bells and whistles. But most importantly, subscribe. Subscribe. Share it. If you feel like this content is worthy enough that someone else that you know may need to hear it, share it. If you want to keep it in your space, share it, because at some point, I don't know when they're taken off Facebook. I know for me, they're taken off Facebook after 30 days. You'll have it there. If you share it, it should be on your feed, at least for a little while. All right, so go ahead, go to YouTube, Mona E. Harrison, hit subscribe. All right, blessings, everybody. Have a great day, and I will see you again tomorrow for Tips Tuesday.